Good morning everyone. Basa tayo natin KJV Bible Daily Reading Plan. Today is 2 March 2022, pang day 121 natin. 2 Samuel chapter 5 verse 1 to 10 and 1 Chronicles chapter 11 and chapter 12. Dito muna tayo sa 2 Samuel. Hanggang verse 10 lang siya. 2 Samuel chapter 5. Then came, pagibasa niyo rin yung inyong KJV Bible guys para sabay tayo magbasa. Then came all the tribes of Israel to David unto Hebron, and spake, saying, Behold, we are thy bone and thy flesh. Also in time past, when Saul was king over us, thou wast he that leadest out and broughtest in Israel. And the Lord said to thee, Thou shalt feed my people Israel, and thou shalt be a captain over Israel. So all the elders of Israel came to the king to Hebron, and King David made a league with them in Hebron before the Lord, and they anointed David king over Israel. David was 30 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 40 years. Ang galing, no? Walang palit-palit hanggang 40 years. Sa atin hanggang 6 years lang, di ba? In Hebron, he reigned over, so ito yung pinakamatagal si David. In Hebron, he reigned over Judah 7 years and 6 months. And in Jerusalem, he reigned 30 and 3 years over all Israel and Judah. And the king and his men went to Jerusalem and to Jebusites, the inhabitants of the land, which spake unto David, saying, Except thou take away the blind and the lame, thou shalt not come in hither, thinking David cannot come in hither. Nevertheless, David took the stronghold of Zion, the same is the city of David. And David said on that day, Whosoever getteth up to the gutter, and smiteth the Jebusites, and the lame, and the blind, that are hated of David's soul, he shall be chief and captain. Wherefore they said, The blind and the lame shall not come into the house. So David dwelt in the fort, and called in the city of David, and David built round about from Millo and inward. And David went on and grew. Last na to guys, sa verse 10, hanggang verse 10 lang tayo. And David went on and grew, Twitter yan. And David went on and grew great, and the Lord God of hosts was with him. Ganyan talaga pag may nagpa-pop up. So, balik na tayo sa 1 Chronicles chapter 11 and chapter 12. Basa. 1 Chronicles chapter 11. Then all Israel gathered themselves to David unto Hebron, saying, Behold, we are thy bone and thy flesh. And moreover, in time past, even when Saul was king, thou wast the... Oh, inulit yung yung binasa natin kanina. Pareho sila ng 1 Chronicles chapter 11, guys. And moreover, in time past, even when Saul was king, thou wast he that leadest out and broughtest in Israel, and the Lord thy God said unto thee, Thou shalt feed my people Israel, and thou shalt be ruler over my people Israel, and thou shalt be ruler over my people Israel. Therefore came of the elders, all the elders of Israel to the king to Hebron, and David made a covenant with them in Hebron before the Lord, and they anointed David king over Israel according to the word of the Lord by Samuel. And David and all Israel went to Jerusalem, which is Jebus. Yung verse 1 up to 3 guys, halos pareho doon sa binasa natin. Verse 4, And David and all Israel went to Jerusalem, which is Jebus, where the Jebusites were the inhabitants of the land. And the inhabitants of Jebus said to David, Thou shalt not come hither. Nevertheless, David took the castle of Zion, which is the city of David. And David said, pareho pa rin. Whosoever smiteth the Jebusites first shall be chief and captain. To Joab, the son of Zeruiah, went first up and was chief. And David dwelt in the castle, therefore they called it the city of David. And he built the city round about, even from Millo round about, and Joab repaired the rest of the city. So David waxed greater and greater, for the Lord of hosts was with him. These also are the chief of the mighty men whom David had, who strengthened themselves with him in his kingdom and with all Israel, to make him king according to the word of the Lord concerning Israel. And this is the number of the mighty men whom David had: Jashubim and Hashmonite, the chief of the captains, who lifted up his spear against 300 slain by him at one time. And after him was Eleazar the son of Dodo the Ahohite, who was one of the three mighties. He was with David at Pasdamim, and there the Philistines were gathered together to battle, where was a parcel of ground full of barley, and people fled from before the Philistines. And they set themselves in the midst of the parcel, and delivered it, and slew the Philistines, and the Lord saved them by a great deliverance. Verse 15. Now 3 of the 30 captains went down to the rock to David into the cave of Adullam, and the host of the Philistines encamped in the valley of Rephaim. And David was then in the hold, and the Philistines' garrison was then at Bethlehem. And David longed and said, Oh, that one would give me drink of the water of the well of Bethlehem that is at the gate. And the tree brake through the host of the Philistines, and drew water of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it and brought it to David. But David would not drink of it, but poured it out to the Lord, and said, My God, forbid it me that I should do this thing. Shall I drink the blood? These men that have put their lives in jeopardy, for with the jeopardy of their lives they brought it. Therefore he would not drink it. These things did his three mightiest. And Abishai, the brother of Joab, he was chief of the three, for lifting up his spear against 300 he slew them, and had a name among the three. Of the three, he was more honorable than the two, for he was their captain, howbeit he attained not to the first three. Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, the son of a valiant man of Gamzil, who had done many acts. He slew 2 lion-like men of Moab. Also he went down and slew a lion in a pit in his snow day. And he slew an Egyptian, a man of great stature, 5 cubits high, and in the Egyptian's hand was a spear like a weaver's beam. And he went down to him with a staff, and plucked the spear out of the Egyptian's hand, and slew him with his own spear. These things did Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and had a name among the three mighties. Behold, he was honorable among the 30, but attained not to the first three. And David set him over his guard. Also the valiant men of the armies were Asahel, the brother of Joab, Elhanan, the son of Dodo, Bethlehem, Shammah the Harorite, Helis the Pelonite, Ira, the son of Achish, the Tekoite, Abiezer, the Anathite, Sibbecai, the Hushathite, Eli, the Ahite, Maharai, the Netophathite. Wait lang, 30. Painom mo na tubig. Madali kasi manuyo yung lalamunan natin. Verse 30. Maharai, the Netophathite, Helid, the son of Anna, the Netophathite, Itai, the son of Ribai, of Gaibe, that pertain to the children of Benjamin, Benaiah, and Piratonite. Horai, of the brooks of Gaash, Abiel, the Arbathite, Ashmaveth, the Baharomite, Eliabah, the Shaalbonite. The sons of Hashim, the Geshonite, Jonathan, the son of Shagi, the Hararite, Ahiam, the son of Sakar, the Hararite, Elipal, the son of Ur, Heber, the Michratite, Ahijah the Polonite, Hezro the Carmelite, Naarai the son of Isbai, Joel the brother of Nathan, Bebar the son of Hagari, Zilik the Ammonite, Naharai the Berothite, the armor bearer of Joab the son of Zeruiah, Ira the Hittite, Garib the Hittite, Ura the Hittite, Zabad the son of Halai, Adena the son of Shiza, the Rebonite, the captain of the Rebonites, and 30 with him, Hanan the son of Matra, and Joshaphat the Mithnite, Uzziah the Ashteritite, Shammah and Jeshiel the sons of Jehotan the Arorite, Jejael the son of Shimri, and Joha his brother the Tizite, Eliel the Mahavite, and Jeribai, and Joshabiah the sons of Elnaam, and Itmah the Moabite, Eliel and Obed and Jeshiel the Mesobite. Ano tayo hanggang chapter 12 ba? Okay. 1 Chronicles chapter 12, verse 1. Now these are the... Wait lang guys Hanggang verse 47 yung chapter 11. Chapter 12, 1 Chronicles, verse 1. Now these are they that came to David to Ziklag, while he yet kept himself close because of Saul the son of Kish, and they were among the mighty men helpers of the war. They were armed with bows and could use both the right hand and the left in hurling stones and shooting arrows out of a bow, even of Saul's brethren of Benjamin. The chief was of Hishar, and Joash the sons of Shema the Gibeathite, and Jeshiel and Pelet the sons of Asmaveth, and Beracha and Jeho the Antothite, and Asmiah the Gibeonite, a mighty man among the 30 and over the 30, and Jeremiah and Jahaziel, and Johanan and Josabad the Giderite, Eluzai and Jeremoth and Eliad and Shemariah and Shephatiah the Harupite, Elkanah and Zisiah and Azarel and Jozer and Jashubim the Korhites. Ang hirap bigkasin ng mga pangalan guys. And Joela and Zebadiah the sons of Jeroham of Gidor, and of the Gadites. There separated themselves unto David into the hold to the wilderness men of might, and men of war, fit for the battle, that could handle shield and buckler, whose faces were like the faces of lions, and were as swift as the roes upon the mountains. Ezer the first, Obadiah the second, Eliab the third, Mishamana the fourth, Jeremiah the fifth, Atai the sixth, Eliel and the seventh, Johanan the eighth, Elzabad the ninth, Jeremiah the tenth, Macbanai the 11th. These were of the sons of God, captains of the host. One of the least was over 100, and the greatest over 1,000. Verse 15. These are they that went over Jordan in the first month, when it had overflown all his banks, and they put to flight all them of the valleys, both toward the east and toward the west. And there came of the children of Benjamin and Judah to the hold unto David, and David went down to meet them, and answered and said unto them, If ye become peaceably unto me to help, mine heart shall be knit unto you. But if ye become to betray me to mine enemies, saying, There is no wrong in mine hands. The God of our fathers looked thereon and rebuked it. Then the Spirit came upon Amasai, who was chief of the captains, and he said, Thine are with David, and on thy side, thou son of Jesse, peace be unto thee, and peace be to thine helpers. For thy God helpeth thee. Then David received them and made them captains of the band. And there fell some of Manasseh to David when he came with the Philistines against Saul to battle, but they helped them not. For the lords of the Philistines upon advisement sent him away, saying, He will fall to his master Saul to the jeopardy of our heads. As he went to Ziklag, there fell to him of Manasseh Adnah and Jozabad and Jejael and Michael and Jozabad and Elihu and Sultai, captains of the thousands that were of Manasseh. 21 tayo guys, wait. Verse 21. Ang haba pa. And they helped David against the band of the robbers, for they were all mighty men of valor and were captains in the host. Itong story kasi na to guys, mga nagdaan na to, kaya parang history na lang nila to. Kaya nga sabi ko next time babasahin natin history naman natin. Kasi history ng ibang bansa nagbabasa natin, tapos yung history natin di natin nababasa. Verse 21, 1 Chronicles chapter 12 verse 21, And they helped David against the band of the robbers, for they were all mighty men of valor and were captains in the host. For at that time, day by day, there came to David to help him until it was a great host like the host of God. And these are the numbers of the bands that were ready armed to the war, and came to David to Hebron to turn the kingdom of Saul to him according to the word of the Lord. The children of Judah that bear shield and spear were 6,800 ready armed to the war. Kita mo ang dami makikipaghira, oh. 1,000. 6,800. Sa Judah yun. Of the children of Simeon, mighty men of valor for the war, 7,100. Of the children of Levi, 4,600, and Jehoiada was the leader of the Aaronites, and with him were 3,700, and Zadok a young man mighty of valor, and of his father's house 20 and 2 captains. And of the children of Benjamin, the kindred of Saul, 3,000, for he heard to the greatest part of them had kept the word of the house of Saul. And of the children of Ephraim, 20,800 mighty men of valor, famous throughout the house of their fathers. And of the half tribe of Manasseh, 18,000, which were expressly by name to come and make David king. And of the children of Issachar, which were men that had understanding of the times to know what Israel ought to do, the heads of them were 200, and all their brethren were at their commandment. Of Zebulun, such as went forth to battle, expert in war, with all instruments of war, 50,000 which could keep rank. They were not of the double heart. Hirap na yung lalamunin ko. And of Naphtali, 1,000 captains, and with them with children were 30 and 7,000. And of the Danites, expert in war, 20 and 8,600. And of Ashur, such as went forth to battle, expert in war, 40,000. And on the other side of Jordan, of the Reubenites and the Gadites, and of the half tribe of Manasseh, with all manner of instruments of war for the battle, 120,000. Tingnan mo lang yan guys, yung mga sasabak sa gera. Hindi lang basta-basta 100 yan, thousands puro. 120,000. All these men of war that could keep rank came with a perfect heart to Hebron to make David king over all Israel, and all the rest also of Israel were of one heart to make David king. And there They were with David 3 days, eating and drinking, for their brethren had prepared for them. Moreover, they that were nigh them, even unto Issachar and Zebulun and Naphtali, brought bread on asses, and on camels, and on mules, and on oxen, and meat, milk cakes of figs, and bunches of raisins, and wine and oil, and oxen and sheep abundantly, for there was joy in Israel. Okay. Bye everyone. God bless.